Hi, I'm Marissa, and like they mentioned, I'm going to be talking about Instagram stories today. So just a little bit about me. I went to USC. I graduated with my BA in theater. Yeah, if you went to USC, you always have to throw that in whenever you speak anywhere. They like ingrain it in you. They definitely brainwash you to be very proud. I'm originally from Tampa, Florida, and I joined Something Social in January of 2015. So this coming January will be my 3-year anniversary with Something Social. Just a little bit about us. We're a social media and creative agency specializing in all things digital. We really do every single thing from A to Z in the digital space for our clients. The bread and butter of our company is looking at a brand when we start working with them and developing a strategy for how they should behave in the digital space, what kind of content they should be putting out there to best represent their brand, what kind of story they should be telling. And then we'll work with them to produce all of that content, to shoot the videos, take the photos, schedule photo shoots, whatever it may be. And then we'll schedule it out on all of the platforms, do all of the copywriting ourselves, all the community management, all the backend analytics, everything on and on and on. All things digital. These are some of our past and current clients, just a little snapshot. I won't go into anything about that, but if you have any questions about any of these brands, let me know, we can talk about it. So yeah, today I'm gonna talk about Instagram stories. Let's just get into it because we don't have that much time. So the first thing that we wanna talk about when we're developing any sort of digital media strategy is, who are you? You know, we've been talking about this kind of all day, starting with Jasmine, you know, the storytelling of your brand. Who are you? What is the message that you're trying to put out there? Who's the target audience that you're talking to? And what is it that you really want to communicate in the digital space or in any space, if you're in person or in the online world, wherever that may be. Before developing a strategy, you want to think about, what does success look like to you? Is it growing your following number? Is that going to mean that you're really successful in the digital space? Or is it increasing your sales? Is it getting a lot of downloads for your podcast or more listeners? What is that KPI to you? That's going to determine what your strategy is going to be and how you're going to get there. So a strategy for someone looking to get more listeners to their podcast is going to be completely different than someone who's trying to increase their online sales. So here's just a couple stats that I found were really, really interesting about Instagram stories. Instagram stories reported over 300 million daily active users of just the stories platform. This is a third of its 800 million monthly users on Instagram, and 500 million of its daily active users. That means that 500 million people every single day are using Instagram. That's insane. 500 million people, crazy. And that is compared to, there's only 200 million people every single day who use Snapchat. Instagram Stories is a new platform that just rolled out recently. I think it's about a year old. I don't remember the exact date. But they have grown this platform dramatically in such a short amount of time that it's so insane, and it's such a good business branding tool. Instagram reported that the average usage that people have been on their platform every single day increased by 28 minutes a day after Instagram Stories rolled out. So people are spending 28 minutes a day longer on Instagram than they were before Instagram Stories rolled out. Honestly, probably you guys, I would say I probably spend at least an extra hour on it all day, just like watching through stories. I try not to, but you just get looped in. It's like, you know, content just keeps coming at you. On Instagram right now, which is a new feature that they also rolled out this year, is the business profile. So there's about 25 million business profiles on Instagram right now, and 50% of those put up an Instagram story at least once a month. So obviously businesses are using this already as a great tool, and we're going to talk about some ways that you can too. So the basics. Instagram, we've been talking about storytelling, as I mentioned, all day. Instagram is the only chronological social media platform. When you think about it, every single other social media platform is in reverse chronological order. So if you go to a brand profile, you're going to see their most recent post first, and if you want to see where they started in the beginning, you have to scroll all the way to the bottom. Instagram Stories is the only one that you can watch it from start to finish. So it's this natural storytelling platform that you have so much more control over the content and the narrative of what you're talking about. And it just makes more sense. It's much more natural to the user and the viewer, and they can really go on that story with you. We find that our most engaging stories are around 3 to 5 slides per day. I'm sure you guys have experienced this when you click on someone's story, and Snapchat stopped doing this because they noticed that it would decrease user engagement. Do you remember on Snapchat that you used to see how many seconds were left of someone's story, and if you saw that there was 120 seconds left, you'd be like, oh, hell no, I'm not watching that, definitely not, and you would exit out of it. So it's kind of the same philosophy with Instagram Stories. If you log on to someone's or a brand's story and you see that there's like all the dots at the top are really small, meaning they have like 20 different slides up there, usually your users will exit out because they're going to get bored of what you're putting out there, or they just don't want to take the time to invest in this super long story. So we recommend it being around 3 to 7. Of course, there are some instances where you want to be longer if it's like a conference like this and you've been building it up for a long time and you want to show people who aren't there what the experience is and what's going on, then it can be longer, and hopefully you've hyped it up enough that people will be interested in what all the elements are of this day. And really, you have so many different types of content that you can put up there. Photos, videos, boomerangs. You really want to try to mix it up to keep it super dynamic. So with Instagram Stories, we always tell our clients to think of Instagram Stories as its own platform and not just an afterthought. The strategy behind Instagram Stories is going to be completely different than your strategy for your Instagram feed. It's going to be light years different than what you're doing on Facebook, completely different than the strategy you're putting out on Twitter. Produce content specifically for this channel. I was talking to someone earlier, I don't remember exactly who it was, but we produce specific content just for the Instagram Stories channel, whether that's specific graphics that are going up only on stories, or if it's, hey, I think I have it a little bit later, but here's a great drink that we recommend you have. Click the Instagram Stories for the full recipe and how to make it, and showing it that way. So it also is a good way to, in your feed, if you have a post and you direct people to your story, it keeps them longer engaged with your brand, directs them back to your brand profile, and then maybe they'll be further interested and want some more information about what you have to offer, then click on your link, go to your website, then spend some time on your website. So it's just prolongating that time and that interaction that they're going to have with your brand and further developing that relationship. So this is just one of our examples. We represent the H-Wood Group, which is a nightlife group here in Los Angeles. And one of their venues is the Peppermint Club, which if you guys haven't been, I really recommend it. Shameless plug, it's really fun. They have great performers there. They usually have about 3 different acts a night. So we'll use their feed to promote their upcoming shows or prior shows and great performances they've had. And then every single day, we put up clips on the Instagram story of the people performing there. So just by going to their profile, you can see the type of experience you're gonna have when you go to this venue. Obviously, it's not gonna be the exact same artist, but you're gonna be able to get a really good roundup of the types of acts that go, the type of performances, the types of lights, the types of crowds that are gonna be there before ever even stepping foot in a venue. You can be in the bathtub and experience this whole entire show just from watching the Instagram stories. So the content. We all know in the Instagram world, if you are super into like your overall aesthetic, which is really thrown around in my day-to-day of what's your brand aesthetic, what's your colors, what's your feed look like. A lot of people don't want to throw off their overall aesthetic with bad content, and we definitely don't recommend having bad profiles as a representation, or bad photos, excuse me, as a representation of your brand on your Instagram feed, but that's a completely different conversation, so we can talk about that later too if you have any more questions. But you wanna, as a brand, like repurpose any user-generated content that you're getting. If someone goes into your restaurant and they're, photographing, saying this is the best salad that I've ever had in my life, or like these tacos are bomb, everyone go and eat this, but it's a really bad photo. Maybe it's just blurry or dark or just doesn't look great. Or someone uses your product and tags you in their Instagram or tags you in a specific post. You want to, build that relationship and give that person a shout out, but sometimes the photo that they used is really going to throw off your feed or is going to mess up your strategy that you've had for your Instagram posting. So you can throw that up on the story and say, thank you so much, Mariah, for visiting our restaurant, or here's people who came to our spin studio this week. This is what's going on. This is what our community is saying about us, and share those testimonials on your Instagram story. You can do behind the scenes at a photo shoot or an event. Sometimes if your Instagram feed is really well curated, it doesn't often give a great inside look at the inner workings of your company or of the people who work for you or what goes on in the day-to-day. So this is a really good platform to share that part of your story. And as you're sharing that, people are going to feel more of a relationship and more of a familiarity with your brand, and hopefully that will increase their likelihood to come to you when they need the service that you offer. It's a great place to do step-by-step recipes, testimonials, or like I said, shared graphics. The algorithm, which is a really obviously hot topic in the social media world, especially on Instagram right now, the algorithm is affecting engagement left and right. Likes are down, comments are down, views are down. It's really, really frustrating for people who use Instagram as a tool to build their brand. Something that we're seeing, which has been implemented on Facebook for a long time, is the algorithm doesn't like text over photos. So if you have been, if you use quote graphics as part of your Instagram strategy, and maybe before you've gotten really great engagement, sharing great quotes or great insights or great tips about whatever your product or service is, now we're seeing that those photos with text on them are getting squashed in the algorithm and get drastically low engagement. It's really frustrating. So what that means, basically squashed in the algorithm, is that Instagram isn't showing your photo to the people that it normally would, or all of your followers. So all of your followers aren't seeing the content that you're working so hard to produce every single day. So a great place to put those graphics is in your Instagram story. And so then maybe if you still have that same tip on your Instagram feed, you could share just a generic photo, or maybe it's a lifestyle photo or a stock photo that you produce, or something that represents the topic that you're talking about, and then say, click our Instagram story for some great tips on this topic, and then direct them there. And I really encourage you guys to utilize features that only exist on this channel. Tag the people that you're talking about. If you're here at Knit Marketing conference, you guys upload an Instagram story, tag Knit Marketing, use the hashtag Get Stuff Done Marketing Conference, and then if someone is really interested in what you're doing, they can click on that hashtag, and every single person who posted an Instagram story with that hashtag will be in its own story in and of itself. And you can use it for real-time video reporting, kind of the same thing as like the behind-the-scenes stuff that I was talking about before. What to focus on? Involving your community. So Instagram Stories, speaking of algorithms, has its own algorithm as well, which will show up to you as, the first one that shows up. It's based on an algorithm, and there also is a discover page as well, just like there is for the Instagram feed. What helps your content in these algorithms is how many people are interacting with you. So how many people are swiping up, how many people are screenshotting, how many people are DMing you from your Instagram story, pushes you up in the algorithm. Instagram wants to encourage people who are being social and communicative in their space. They want to build a community. So a brand who is developing a community around their content, they're going to help grow, because that's helping their Instagram community grow and helping lead to people spending more time on their platform. So ask for your followers to screenshot. Maybe you're offering those great tips and encourage them, screenshot this and save it for later, or directly link it to your website. This is from one of our clients, is a podcast called The Lady Gang. They often, every single week, their sponsors, we put all their sponsors up on the story and then directly link all their sponsors to the sponsorship page. This helps the sponsors feel like they're getting the bang for their buck. They're getting more direct traction to their website, and it helps them reinvest in the podcast episode after episode, helps the community easily get to the websites of the sponsors, etc. Conducting a poll. This is a really fun feature that they stole from Twitter, but you can conduct a poll on your Instagram stories, but beware, if you don't know already, the proctor who asked the question can see what you've answered. It isn't anonymous, so think about that before you respond. Just if it's something you don't want them to know, they'll know. Here's what I was talking about earlier with the recipes. So in the actual feed, we'll just share this image, high quality cocktail photo, and then direct them to the Instagram story to see the full recipe. Another shameless plug, this is a Japanese whiskey brand called Kokori Japanese Whiskey. It's absolutely unreal, you guys. You have to try it. I tell everyone about it. This is like one of those clients that I get excited about because I actually love the product. It's so good. It's an amazing whiskey. It's great for gifts, holiday season. All I'm saying, you can buy it at Bevmo. And we share some really amazing recipes on their Instagram. So follow us, follow them, and you'll have great ways to use their product. So this is just an example of how using Instagram stories can help people get associated and familiar with their brand. If we were just saying, buy this whiskey, and only sharing bottle shot of the whiskey after bottle shot after bottle shot, buy this whiskey, people would be like, okay, great, but what do I do with it? I have no idea what to do with it. So help them help you. Help them buy their product and know what to do with it. Say you are a skincare brand, share different ways that they can use your products. A lot of products have more than one use. If it is only one use, show them all the different benefits that they can get, and just repeat that messaging every week or every month or every day, depending on what your goals are and what your means of success, as we talked about in the beginning, are. And then they will develop that further relationship with your brand, and it just increases the trustworthiness that they have with you. Just a little quick note, you can also highlight the retailers, like where you can buy it, like Bevmo, or profile maybe your team members, day-to-day office. Let people get to know the people who are working with your team. Let them get to know your company, better things about you. The don'ts. Don't post the same thing on your Instagram story as you do in your feed. This gives people no reason to watch your Instagram story. If you're posting the same content on every single platform, why do they need to follow you on all of these different platforms? They don't. They can only follow you on one, and then they don't need to follow you anywhere else. So just using the whiskey as an example, we'll use great cocktail shots of the whiskey, plus show different cocktails all over the city where you can enjoy this whiskey in different drinks at different restaurants. We use the Instagram story to show the exact recipes. We use the Twitter to tweet out links to people who are talking about the whiskey in Food and Wine or in any of these publications. And then we use Facebook to kind of bring it all together, and then run ads and all that stuff, which someone's going to talk about later. Don't forget that you're still representing a brand. I see people do this all the time, and it honestly makes me cringe. I don't know if you guys have ever been following a brand, and then all of a sudden you're watching their story and there's like a baby. And you're like, this is a lotion company. Where did this baby come from? And it turns out that maybe it's the owner of the lotion company's baby, but you didn't even know that it was a woman who owned the company or was a mom or just had a baby or any of this. Keep that stuff on your personal social media channels, because it's just jarring and it leads to questions in the consumer's mind about what is going on here, and then they have this weird, uncomfortable experience. Just don't forget that you're representing a brand. Don't forget that in your Instagram stories. It is a little bit, I think it's a little misleading because it's a zero entry thing. Like, so many people are familiar with Instagram or any social media platforms. We probably all have them, and our personal brand, the Marissa Stahl brand, is completely different from what our company brand would be, and things that I would put on my personal social media channels, I would never put on our company's channels, because that's a reflection of me and not the company. So just think about it that way. And that's along the same lines as don't get too personal. And another one that isn't on here is don't try to copy your competitor. It's great to look at what they're doing for market research and look at what is successful for them, but that's them and that's their brand. And even if they are in your same space and they're doing the same thing that you're trying to do, it's going to be different in some ways. So just remember why you got into your business or you got into your line of work, and keep it personal to you. Because if you're just doing every single thing that your competitor is doing, you're going to lose followers, because people are going to pick up on that the fact that it isn't genuine. And you know, Instagram itself, as I've kind of mentioned, is changing daily. New developments constantly, changes in the algorithm, changes in features in the platform. Just this week, you guys, on Tuesday, of course, I wake up, and this is what happens. I wake up in the morning and I'm, oh, it's gonna be such a great day. And then I look and Instagram's like, new feature. I'm like, great, this is so great, I'm so happy. So just on Tuesday, they rolled out this feature called Featured Instagram Stories. I have such mixed feelings about it, because it's going to be so good for brands, but it just creates so much more work for me. But it's okay. So right now, I don't know if any of you guys have you guys seen this? Anyone seen the Featured Instagram Stories? No? Yes? Great. So it's this new bar, basically. This is our company profile. We didn't have any on here when I took this screenshot on Wednesday, but if you go to it now, there's 2 featured story highlights. So now, in the past, your Instagram story would expire after 24 hours into the abyss, and if anyone didn't see it, they would never see your content again unless you re-uploaded it. So now they rolled out this feature where you can create story highlights and basically create a highlight reel of your best story content. So for those recipes that I was mentioning, if we only before had the whiskey recipe up for 24 hours, now we can create a different story highlight for every single recipe. So whenever anyone comes and visits the Instagram profile, they can automatically see 7 to 10. I don't know if there's a limit on it yet. I haven't experimented that far, but they can watch all of those story highlights. So for the Peppermint Club, we have some of the most recent performances up there on the story highlights. It just is a great way to, them automatically, they can watch a little movie about your brand. Some things that I was thinking about of how to use this to the best of your ability is you could upload a little video about yourself right on your Instagram profile. Just, hey you guys, so great, thank you for coming and checking out my page. Or highlight members on your team. So then maybe we would have our CEO on there saying, hi, I'm Callie, here's a little bit about me. So that someone could automatically just watch that first thing when they go to your profile, get an introduction to who you are without ever having to call you, look at your website, ever exit out of the Instagram app. So this is a really great feature. I think it's going to be one of the most beneficial things for a brand's Instagram profile page, mark my words. Just came out on Tuesday, but it's going to be a game changer, I'm telling you. So just stay flexible in your strategy. Know that things can change at a drop of a hat, and sometimes it really sucks because you've been working on developing the type of content that you've done for a long time, but that's just the nature of social media. It changes so rapidly. My final notes are, I mentioned this a little bit before, but stay social. It's called social media. Stay social. Make sure that you're commenting and taking part in the community and the audience that you're building. You want to be commenting on people's photos outside of your own account. You want to be liking their comments, replying to their comments. You want to be engaging with other profiles, engaging with other businesses, partnering with other businesses for collaborations, shouting out people that you love, shouting out people that are doing great things in your same space. And then stay kind. This is just like a personal note, but obviously social media, all of the platforms lend themselves to anonymity. And oftentimes that leads to bullying or just a really bad atmosphere. And we're all in the digital space together, so let's just keep it being a community that we want to be a part of. Check out our blog for some more resources. We have some great articles like how to get to 10K followers to get that swipe up feature. Influencer marketing 101, top 5 social media mistakes. We're constantly rolling out new blog posts on topics like this. And we also offer one-on-one consulting. So if you need help with like developing your social media strategy, but you don't want to fully hire an agency like us, we offer one-on-one consulting and can help you really get down to that message that you're trying to put out there and what that looks like and how you can execute it on your own. This is my email and my social handles, Marissa C. Stahl, and Something Socials. So I hope that was around 15 minutes, probably longer, but if you have any questions, write them down and we can go over them in the breakout session. Cool, thank you.